Good morning, I'm Pat Kiernan. This is Pat's Papers, our morning look at what's in the nation's newspapers. We've been looking through the headlines, and here's what we found for you today. A familiar face on the front pages of many newspapers today, actor Ricardo Montalban has died at the age of 88, best known for his work as Mr. Rourke on Fantasy Island. The LA Times quotes fellow Latino actor Edward James Olmos, who called the Mexico City-born Montalban one of the true giants of arts and culture. Not surprisingly, the story plays prominently in the papers in Mexico this morning. Montalban was seen as a pioneer for Mexicans in Hollywood. Probably no better paper to get the scoop on Apple Computer CEO Steve Jobs than the San Jose Mercury News, supposedly Jobs' favorite newspaper. It says that in an email sent yesterday to company staff, the Apple co-founder wrote his health problems are more complex than he originally believed. In a separate article, the paper looks further into Apple's leadership bench strength. The Washington Post looks at how a new wave of bank losses from industry giants is putting further pressure on the federal government to use more money for distressed banks. It says Democratic leaders are seeking more help for distressed homeowners, small businesses, and municipalities, but senior Federal Reserve officials said this week the bulk of the money should be going to help the banks. Page 1 above the fold of the Charlotte Observer, covering hometown banking news, banking giant Bank of America. The paper had to cite a Wall Street Journal story in this report, Bank of America seeking more government aid after initially being one of the banks that came to the rescue of more deeply troubled institutions. A front page story in today's Miami Herald examines dire predictions for Haiti in 2009. The forecast, even worse than hurricane-stricken 2008. A telling picture on page 1. The paper says the country's misery will likely deepen as its meager economy and the global economic crisis collide with donor fatigue and unease on the country's social and economic front. Two stories that caught my eye on the front page of the New York Times. Venezuela is not feeling so bold now that oil prices have fallen. Hugo Chavez is talking to Western oil companies again. He had squeezed those companies out to keep all the profits for his own national oil company. And there's a story about a big increase in the number of foreclosure-related swindles in the U.S. The story says this new breed of swindler presents a plan to stave off foreclosure, but then often does little to help. There will be an unprecedented deployment of technology in Washington next week for Barack Obama's inauguration. That, according to a front-page story in USA Today, one of many stories in the papers this morning about the efforts in D.C. to get a handle on this record crowd that's expected on Tuesday. While we're on the topic of USA Today, the front page of its sister paper, the Jackson Sun, describes another big cost-cutting move in the newspaper business. The Gannett newspapers are laying off everybody for a week in the first quarter. These unpaid vacations won't happen all at the same time, but they'll happen at some point over the next 3 months, so everybody will be asked to sit out a week. There is concern in Hawaii today about teacher qualifications. A national ranking for the No Child Left Behind Act says Hawaii has fewer teachers ranked as highly qualified than any other state. Officials in Hawaii say the problem often comes when a teacher with expertise in one area is asked to do some teaching in another, such as when a trained science teacher is asked to pick up a math course or two. Some fascinating medical news and an Associated Press story seen here in the Herald-Dispatch in West Virginia. Researchers looking into surgical errors say they were blown away by the degree to which a simple checklist helped to reduce the death rate in hospitals. The death rate was cut in half when doctors added these simple precautions, such as asking the patient's name before surgery to make sure they're working on the right person. The headline in Bismarck, North Dakota is one of simple relief after record snow earlier this week. The paper says the snow is over for now. They are rubbing the weather in Southern California. The Press-Gazette's front page headline is, "Now aren't you glad you live here?" California temperatures in the 80s this week, while much of the country is dealing with snow and below normal temperatures. Press Enterprise has a story about a local girl on American Idol. There are similar stories in papers across the country, such as here in the Chicago Tribune. Katrina Darrell tried to get the attention of the judges on American Idol by wearing only a bikini on the series premiere. Whether it was a swimsuit or her singing, she was invited back for the next round. She has become an internet sensation. The term Idol Bikini Girl was the third most popular search on Google after the show. If you think one lab rat is as good as the next, think again. Actually, we're talking about a lab mouse, not a rat, but there's a lawsuit in Maine, reported in the Bangor Daily News, a Japanese company suing the Jackson Laboratory for selling a particular type of mouse that is excellent for medical research. The company in Japan claims it has the patent rights to the mouse. Finally, how much power is the computer you're using now burning? What about your fridge? What about your alarm clock? What about your TV? The Boston Globe puts the kilowatt to the test. This is a device that helps you monitor the power you're using by isolating each device in your home. Typically, there are about 40 devices in a home that use power even when they're not turned on, and that adds up to about 10% of your monthly electrical bill. And that's our report for today. I'm Pat Kiernan. Thanks for being with us today. We do this every weekday, and you can always go to patspapers.com where you will find the rundown of the stories we featured today and links you can click on to get to the individual newspapers where those stories were published.